Hello everybody out there. This is Chaplain Dale Ray and I'm coming to you live today and my show is called To Dale Ray Raw. I want to thank everybody for joining me today out there. It's pretty cold down here in Texas. Who's living down here, you know to put your earmuffs on and your heavy coats. It's pretty cold. I'm going to bring you a fantastic show today, but first, I want to talk to you about our organization. It's called Gaining Ground. And we are an intervention prevention program located here in Humble, Texas, and of course the surrounding area. We try to reach out and help the youth at risk from 12 to 24 years old who have difficulties or at risk of becoming violent offenders or even drug or alcohol dependent, ex-offenders, truant, juvenile delinquent. We do it all right here with a passion. And our organization also helps and assists in transforming the lives of these youth by involving them with qualified adult life coaches and mentors. We have individual case management, after school recreational activities, homework assistance, anger management, and domestic violence facilitating. We also do life skills and self-esteem building, job skills, and community and citywide involvement. This is what we're asking for. Everybody need to join in to help us with this. Reach one, teach one. You know, our organization needs your support and funding to help purchase a structured building that will implement programs and provide a healthy environment where our youth can go to have a safe haven and positive guidance and supportive assistance. Gaining Ground is guided by a volunteer board of directors, advisors, and professionals. Our primary revenue resource is from fundraising, donations from generous individuals like yourself. And in order to continue our efforts to help these youth, we need you to make a donation. You can make whatever you have, $1, a nickel, it doesn't matter. You know, your donation is tax deductible, and Gaining Ground really appreciates your support and of course your donation. You can go to www.gainingground.us. When you get there, scroll down and look at the PayPal button right there, and you know, hit it and give what you can. It's about helping these kids out here, stop them from standing on corners selling drugs late at night. You know, when they're out there, we know that bullets don't have any names on them. Thank y'all for joining me today. My show is called Stay Hungry for Knowledge. And I want to begin by saying, personally, I've always wanted to know what makes this work, or why is this the way it is. And like I mentioned the other day on my last broadcast, when my mom told me when I was 3 years old not to climb up on a rollaway bed, but I did it anyway. And of course, curiosity, it cost me a lot. 2 broken legs. And many years ago, I tried crack cocaine and stayed on it for over 20 years. That cost me big time. Still, I will say it's good to be curious about certain things, not stupid stuff that could possibly cost you your life. Yet failure is on its own. Is success. Failure, you know, when we go through failure, it's okay because we learn. We learn from that. Today I've been clean 13 years. And I'm also not saying to be curious about why Mr. and Mrs. Jones got divorced. That ain't our business. And I think if we keep in mind that big minds discuss ideals and small minds discuss people. And it's cool to be curious. because those questions we have should turn into a quest. And let's not be satisfied with the status quo. It's the curiosity that's fueled by a tangent, and it helps us to come up with new thoughts, new ideas. And so I want to encourage my listeners to never lose that hunger for knowledge, because it is about evolving. That's definitely what I wanted to do, and I still want to do. I want to keep on going. I want to change every day because I have that teachable spirit. And since being clean and sober, I've really tried to make a contract with myself to learn something new every day. And it's kind of like rewarding myself by alternating the difficult and pleasurable lessons of life. And to you, my listeners, never, but never stop learning. And for instance, what about those wonderful friends in our lives? It's important, at least to me, to continue maintaining a good and solid foundation. Those that will and have been there by my side. I've never weakened that bond with them. It's friends for life. You also have to be good at spotting opportunities, and then do the homework and ask yourself the questions. What motivation and skills can I bring to the table? And I think we will be amazed at ourselves about what we've learned about us. I've been through so many adversities in my life, and with that, it has given me a foundation of resilience, and to believe that no matter how far I had sank down, success is possible. And so I encourage you to stay hungry for knowledge, and it begins with you holding on no matter what. And when you fall, get up and try it again. And if you are persistent, then you'll find a greater understanding of where you've headed. You got to stay hungry and to utilize your resources to determine your future. That's what I did when I wanted to create our nonprofit organization, Gaining Ground. And just know that we are all blank canvases. And those events that have touched our lives on a daily basis are brush strokes in many different colors. And of course, there's going to be dark hues that represent the good and bad, but they are challenges we face as we hunger and thirst for knowledge. And never forget that we are in control of what goes on that canvas. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to stay foolish and hungry as long as I live, especially after squandering half of my life away on drugs and alcohol. Today, I am a life coach and a mentor. This is the path I've chosen to pursue for the rest of my life. And although I'm not sure where the road will lead me, I want to thank my family and friends, Bebe out there, Mona Lisa, and the rest of my family who have stuck by me during the time of the death of my daughter, Marianne. And I also want to thank you for standing by me during my drug addiction and to help me to get to where I'm at today. Y'all stay with me. We got a great show here today. We're not going to have music today, and maybe that's a good thing, and something went wrong over there, but I hope everybody can hear me. We're talking about staying hungry for knowledge. And again, I want to mention Gaining Ground, and we are an intervention program located here in Humble, Texas. We are guided by the volunteer board of directors, and I really appreciate them stepping up to the plate without pay. Their pay is watching these youngsters fly, these youngsters going back to school, going to college, being something in life. You know, I must say that for the first time in my adult life, I'm proud of my country, and not because we have a black president, but I think that we are all hungry for change, and we should stay hungry for knowledge. We learn every day. Well, at least we should. And if we have that hunger heart, I believe it brings happiness. And for me, my reputation of helping others has been based on credibility and being able to provide a way out of gangs for those kids who don't know where to turn, but also the drug addict, and to help him or her get into a recovery program. That's what I do today. And so I encourage everybody listening to me today to keep that desire within you, that thirst for more knowledge and more wisdom. You see, if you stay hungry, I believe you can achieve anything you want in this world. And I encourage you, my listeners, to bring variety to your life. This is how we live. And if each and every one of us give importance, for example, for higher education for teens, then we'll be all right. When I reached my 10th year of sobriety, I just started thinking, wow, today I can think with clarity. And I began to really realize that if I apply myself, then I can learn anything I want. And you can too. I am a living witness that you can accomplish great things for your life and the goals that you set for yourself. And if you hunger for that knowledge, there are no limitations. People have become so complacent, and it's like they are stuck and don't want to move forward. Where is the life, people? We've lost that zeal for learning, that hunger and thirst. But if we only knew that the essence of knowledge is going after it and applying it to our lives, and it has power. It's also access to opportunity and advancement. For example, I wanted to know everything on how to stay clean and sober. Everything. And then I began to take action and stay away from those slippery places. And then I began to go to meetings, 90 meetings in 90 days. Then I began to work out. Then I began to walk along the beach. And I kept telling myself what I did, what I needed to learn. Today, I've been clean for 13 years. And so I encourage you to seek knowledge and never stop. You have it. You could do it. God has given us it. And it's the knowledge that helps us to survive. And personally, I never want to stop learning. How about you? And I also want to encourage the kids who drop out of school. It's a terrible mistake. Get back into the class, young man, young lady. It's about learning what life is. It's about you learning to have a set of ideals, standards, and plans. This is knowledge, youngster. You can't just sit around doing nothing but smoking blunts. Life doesn't work that way. I couldn't continue living on the streets and smoke crack every day. If I wanted to get clean and sober, I couldn't wait for my recovery to materialize. But I had to put that plan into motion, and I had to make it happen. And so to those who think it's cool to drop out, you need to drop back in. Knowledge and wisdom is not going to walk up to you. You must go after it. And I believe that we learn when we thirst for knowledge. That's how it is. Whether it's learning to dance or sing, the principles are the same. And practice to me means perform. I kept trying to get some recovery, even in the face of my strong addiction, in and out of programs. And here I am today, clean and sober through the grace of God. Even when I was homeless, I learned so much out there, especially those who cared what happened to me and the encouragement they gave me to get up and start moving in the positive, Del Ray. They taught me about optimism, even in the face of adversity. And the police officer Matthew Gooden, who passed away in 2010, God bless him, he also taught me about friendship and selflessness. But the most important, unwavering, what he taught me was loyalty. I got to tell you that knowledge is important, my friends. And we can learn so much if we are an open book. And to those who think they know everything, only a fool would think that way. Because the only people who achieve a lot are those that thirst for knowledge and truth. And while we learn, we also make mistakes, as I've made many. And we'll make many more. And if we do mess things up, don't try to hide them. Don't even try to rationalize them, but we should recognize it and learn from it. That's knowledge, my friend. I got to say that each and every one of us should always hunger for more. And I believe it can drive us to do great things for ourselves. I'm a living witness to that today. In our family, in our communities. And if we stop traveling or learning or even creating, that's when the weight of the world can start piling up on us. Keep moving. Because without that hunger, we wouldn't have medical or technology developments. Think about it. We may not even have art or poetry. But on the flip side of that coin, we may not even have war or greed and hatred. Hunger takes different forms. It depends on how it's channeled. You know what really worries me? It's what's going on with kids today. They are so glued to cell phones and games. And it should be a concern to all of us, to society, that we are not teaching these kids how to connect with each other. And then we wonder why so much is going on in their heads. And I'm not saying we should abandon all human progress, but we have come a long way in the technology. But we need to look at mental health issues we face in the world today. Y'all stay with me. I thank y'all. I had to pause for a minute. Today we're talking about hunger for knowledge. This is Chaplain Dale Ray. I think that you'll agree, listeners, that most of us possess at least two areas of knowledge that we strive to know really good. It could be our jobs or even a hobby. And yeah, I'll agree that it's important that we develop a deep understanding of what matters to us. But it's also important to develop a broad understanding of what's going on around. And for you teens who drop out of school, let Dale Ray tell you, let me remind you that learning is not just for school children, but it's much that you can learn so much even out there on the streets. You need to get your butt back in school. If you really think that you've learned enough, then something is really wrong with that picture. And me personally, today I love learning new things. Every day it gives me that wide range of seeing things in a different perspective. Never want to stop hungering for knowledge. And I also want to mention the fact that if I didn't get clean and sober, I would have died out there in a dark alley many years ago in the streets of San Francisco. So yeah, thank God for knowledge. I just want to encourage everybody listening to me today to continue on your quest to learn something every day. It's possible, it's essential if we are to progress further and to develop ourselves. I'm always looking for ways to get these teens to quit standing on corners late at night because bullets don't have names on them. I'm always trying to get them to put down the guns and pick up the books. And I will also say that my past experiences has taught me a great deal about Dale Ray. And when I started to get clean and sober, I had to do some exploring and go deep within me. We all can acquire anything we want in this life. And certainly knowledge should be at the top of that list. It should serve a purpose. And it should have an objective. Personally, I want to make people aware of that self-determination that lives in each and every one of us today. God has given us that. We only have to reach down inside of us and bring it up. Especially when we are going through it, some serious storms in our life. And so, yeah, I do believe that all the happiness from our sensory perceptions become very small compared to the happiness of gaining knowledge. Just like these teens, they want immediate gratification without putting any work in to attain it. And at the end, they end up frustrated. There are no shortcuts, youngster. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've tried all of them. People, we cannot go wrong if we give ourselves opportunity to grow and to learn from each other. And then we are able to pass it on to our families and even our communities. But let's teach these troubled teens that with knowledge, we broaden our horizon and good things come along, like healthy relationships, good jobs. I encourage you to keep learning. Have you seen that commercial on TV where this guy tackles the snow, climbing mountains? It's really rough stuff. But at the end, he is sitting in a bar next to two women, and his words are, "Stay thirsty, my friend." And so whatever we are engaged in or are trying to do, we are working at a creation or co-creation of good or just useful events for our future. To all my listeners out there, we are here on this earth to learn. And sometimes our search for knowledge can create unhappiness. But it's just another way for us to learn. That's what I believe. It was a great failure for me when I ended up on the street smoking crack for 20 years. I also became homeless and felt I had nowhere to turn. And so I thought, I became so depressed. But at the same time, I was also learning what not to do. This 13th year of my sobriety, I'm so grateful. I learned so much while I was out there. And I want to pass it on to someone else who may be struggling with an addiction. I encourage you to get that hope back if you want to live. Correct your failures. And it's up to you, my friend. God bless y'all. This is Chaplain Dale Ray. Thank you, baby, for joining me, and stay focused. You are a general. God bless everybody out there. Don't forget to pass somebody and pat them on the back and tell them that you could make it another day. God bless.